The Sign of Four, 1890. Episode 5, The Great Thames Chase. Welcome back, detective friend. Last episode ended with a tense confrontation as Jonathan Small revealed himself, claiming the Agra treasure was rightfully his. But our wooden-legged adversary has one more trick up his sleeve, and the night is far from over. Picture the scene. You're standing on the fog-shrouded Thames embankment, facing Jonathan Small, who holds a concealed blade. The bloodhound growls at unseen threats in the darkness, while somewhere in the night, Small's deadly partner with the poisoned darts remains at large. Small's weathered face twists into a cunning smile. "You want the truth about the treasure, Mr. Holmes? Then you'll have to catch me first." Before anyone can react, Small hurls something into the fog, not at you, but toward the water. There's a splash, followed by the distinctive sound of oars cutting through water. Holmes immediately grasps what's happening. The boat. He's signaling his escape vessel. What would be your first instinct, detective friend? Pursue Small directly or try to cut off his water escape route? Small begins his retreat, his wooden leg creating an odd rhythm. Tap, thump, tap, thump, as he moves surprisingly quickly toward the river's edge. "Stop him!" Watson shouts. But Small has planned this perfectly. Just as you begin pursuit, a small wooden dart whistles past your ear, barely missing you. From somewhere in the darkness comes that deadly companion, the silent assassin with the poisoned weapons. Holmes pulls everyone behind a stack of cargo crates. "Detective friend, we're dealing with a coordinated escape." Small draws our attention while his partner provides lethal cover. Mary presses close to you, her face pale in the lamplight. How do we catch someone who has both river and jungle warfare at his disposal? This is an excellent question, detective friend. What advantages do you have in this urban environment that might counteract your opponent's specialized skills? Holmes's mind is racing through possibilities. The bloodhound. If we can get close enough to that boat, our four-legged friend can track their scent even across water. But first, you need to reach the Thames without being struck by poisoned darts. Small has nearly reached a small wharf where a steam launch waits, its engine already running. Watson spots movement in the fog. "Holmes, there, on the warehouse roof." You look up to see a small, agile figure moving across the rooftops with incredible speed and silence. The Andaman Islander, Small's deadly partner, is providing overwatch for the escape. What's your tactical assessment, detective friend? How do you approach a situation where your enemies have both high ground advantage and superior mobility? Holmes makes a quick decision. We split up. Watson, take Miss Morstan and circle to the east wharf. Try to get ahead of their boat. Detective friend, you and I will provide pursuit pressure to keep them from thinking clearly. "But the poison darts," Mary begins. "Stay low, move unpredictably and trust in Providence," Holmes replies grimly. As you follow Holmes in a crouched run toward the water, another dart embeds itself in a wooden post, just inches from Holmes's head. "Impressive accuracy," Holmes mutters. "Our opponent is clearly a master marksman with those weapons." You reach the water's edge just as Small's steam launch begins pulling away from the wharf. Through the fog, you can see Small standing in the stern, his wooden leg braced against the boat's motion. "Too late, Mr. Holmes," Small shouts across the water. "The Aurora is the fastest boat on the Thames. You'll never catch us." But Holmes is already scanning the nearby moorings. "Detective friend, our adventure is just beginning. Look there. Police launch approaching from upstream." Inspector Lestrade's boat emerges from the fog, its searchlight cutting through the darkness. "Holmes," Lestrade calls out. "We received Watson's message. Is that our suspects?" "Indeed. They're heading downstream in a steam launch called the Aurora. Can your vessel match their speed?" Lestrade grins. "My boat's been modified by Scotland Yard's finest engineers. We'll see who's fastest on the Thames tonight." What's your prediction, detective friend? Will a police launch be able to catch a vessel specifically chosen by criminals for its speed? As both boats disappear into the fog, you hear Small's wooden leg companion leap down from the warehouse roof behind you. The Andaman Islander has decided to make a final stand rather than abandon his partner. Holmes spins around, his revolver ready. "Surrender! You're outnumbered and your escape route is cut off." But the small, wiry figure doesn't respond to English. Instead, he produces a blowpipe and raises it to his lips. "Down!" Holmes shouts, pulling you behind a bollard just as another dart whistles through the air. The bloodhound, however, has different ideas. With a fierce growl, the magnificent animal charges toward the islander, who scrambles up a stack of cargo boxes with monkey-like agility. This creates a crucial opportunity, detective friend. What would you do to help capture this dangerous opponent without getting anyone killed? Holmes uses the distraction wisely. While he's focused on the dog, we can approach from two sides. But remember, he's fighting for his life and probably doesn't understand we might show mercy. The islander's position on top of the cargo gives him commanding views, but also limits his escape options. He seems to be calculating his chances while keeping the blowpipe ready. "He's trapped," you observe to Holmes. "Yes, but a trapped animal is often most dangerous. We need to end this without bloodshed if possible." Suddenly, you hear the distant sound of a steam whistle from downstream. Very faint, but growing fainter. Either Lestrade is catching up to the Aurora, or the chase is moving beyond earshot. The islander seems to hear it too. His posture changes. He's no longer preparing to fight, but to flee toward his partner. What does this tell you about their relationship, detective friend? Why might someone risk their life for a partner who could easily abandon them? Holmes notices the change as well. He's loyal to Small. Remarkable. Even in these desperate circumstances, honor matters to him. This observation gives Holmes an idea. He slowly stands, hands visible and empty, and speaks in a calm, respectful tone. "We know you're protecting your friend. We understand loyalty. But he's led you into this dangerous situation. You don't have to die for his choices." The islander's eyes narrow, clearly understanding more English than he's letting on. "Your skills, your knowledge, they're valuable. Someone with your abilities could find honest work in London, but not if you're dead or in prison for murder." For a moment, there's hesitation in the islander's posture. He's considering Holmes's words. Then, from far downstream, comes the sound that changes everything. A steam whistle giving 3 sharp blasts. The international signal for a vessel in distress. The Aurora. Holmes breathes. Something's happened to their boat. The islander's face shows anguish. His partner, his friend, is in trouble on the river. What choice would you make in his position, detective friend? Surrender to help your partner, or continue fighting the people who might be the only ones capable of mounting a rescue? The bloodhound whimpers, sensing the emotional tension in the air. Holmes extends his hand toward the islander. "Help us help him. You know the river. You know boats. Together, we might be able to save Small's life." The islander looks at Holmes's outstretched hand, then toward the river where his partner's distress call came from, then back at the detective who's offering cooperation instead of conquest. Slowly, very slowly, he lowers the blowpipe. "Wise choice," Holmes says softly. "What's your name, friend?" The islander speaks for the first time, his voice heavily accented but clear. "Tonga. My name is Tonga." "Well, Tonga," Holmes replies, "it seems we have a rescue mission ahead of us. Are you ready to help us save Jonathan Small?" As you prepare for what could be either a rescue or a recovery operation, you realize this case has taught you something profound about justice, loyalty, and the complex bonds that form between people who have survived terrible hardships together. The great Thames chase may be ending, but the real questions about right and wrong are just beginning.